Hey guys, so today's video is going to be all about the new Colourpop pressed eyeshadows. I have them all right here in my NARS palette because I didn't have anywhere to put them in because they come as singles in the little pans. So I ordered an extra large Z palette off of Amazon and I'm waiting for that to come in the mail, but for now, they're in this palette. But ever since these launched a couple of days ago, I've gotten so many requests to sit down and talk to you guys about them, what I think about them, review them, and give you guys swatches as well. So if you guys didn't know, Colourpop is kind of originally known for their super shock shadows. They're also single eyeshadows, but they look like this and they're completely different. These have like a moussey wet texture. They're incredibly pigmented. They're just like out of this world insane, very unique. But they actually release pressed eyeshadows that you could just pop into a Z palette. They have that powder formula that most eyeshadows have. Even though I love a lot of their super shock shadows in the matte finish, I feel like they only work well with certain brushes. Like they have to be synthetic, and some people might say it's a little bit harder to work with, but these mattes work with any brush. They're a little bit easier to use. So these are the colors right here. These are the shadows they just recently launched. I'm sure they're gonna be launching like hundreds more as the months start rolling on because Colourpop is known for just spitting out collections like this. But I actually really love the colors. I think they're so beautiful. I'm actually gonna go through each eyeshadow with you. I'm gonna try to run through them really quickly. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts and then I am gonna swatch them right here for you on my hand so you can see how they apply like with my finger. But I do have close-up swatches just so you can get a better look. So before I get into the swatches, I just want to quickly give you kind of like a mini review. There is actually one color in here that I don't really like, and it's this one called Piece of Cake, which I was actually really excited for, but I'll get into why I don't really love it when we get to that shade. But besides that, I actually love all of these. I think they're amazing. They blend really well. They do have some fallout. They remind me a lot of the Anastasia eyeshadows in the sense that when you put your brush in, you do get some powder kick up, but it is because they are just so soft that you get a little bit of kick up. I don't really mind that, but if you're someone who just hates pickup on the brush, you might not like these. But I did do my entire face today before I did my eye makeup and I didn't really notice any fallout on my face. It was just the eyeshadows itself that had a little bit of fallout when I put my brush in. But all you need to do to avoid that is just tap off the brush and then go in and you're fine. You won't have much fallout. These are only $5 each, very similar to Makeup Geek. So very, very affordable, and they are similar to Makeup Geek in the sense that they blend really well. They're very pigmented. I really, really like these. I love Colourpop, you guys know. One of my favorite brands. They just do makeup so well at such an affordable price, which, I mean, that's all I can ask for really. So let's get into the colors. So the first one is called Firefly, and I'm gonna quickly apologize for the way I'm going to describe these shades. I feel like there's people on the internet that are like, it's like a muted dusty rose with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like, people can describe shades so perfectly. I'm just gonna tell you what I see. This is like a light, creamy, neutral shade. Perfect to highlight the brow bone. Perfect if you are very, very fair to set your eye primer down. A really great shade. I feel like it's a necessity in an eyeshadow collection because it pairs really well with cool tone looks and with warm tone looks. So this one is very creamy. When you put your finger in it, it's like creamy, so pigmented, and you can't even see that because it's almost my skin color. Okay. Can you see it? A little bit. The next one is very similar, only it has more of a warm undertone. This one is called Hear Me Out. I'm actually wearing this underneath my brow bone to highlight today, and I feel like it just lifts the brows so much. It's very pigmented. Let me just swatch it right here. See, this one is a little bit brighter. You can kind of see this one a little bit more against my skin tone. Again, really creamy. Like when I put my finger in this, it feels so buttery. So buttery. This next one is also a matte shade, but it has a really strong yellow undertone. This one's called Locked and Loaded. Also really great for underneath the brow bone if you have maybe a deeper skin tone, or if you're very, very, very fair like porcelain, this could probably be a nice yellowish transition shade. This is that one right there. I just want to point something out. You will notice if you like swatch them too hard or if you dig into them a little bit too hard, they'll look a little chunky when you swatch them, but it's because they are so soft, like I said, and they do have that kick up, so don't let that turn you off. It's not gonna apply chunky or weird and patchy on the eyes, and very creamy. A lot of the times some mattes can be chalky. These are not chalky. This next one is a really pretty shimmery pink. It's very light, perfect for the inner corners or your brow bone if you're into a shimmery brow bone, perfect for all over the lid. These are the kind of shades that you can just use anywhere. This is really pretty like for a halo eye right in the center. This one is called Liar Liar. Let me swatch it for you. It has a really pretty reflection to it. This next one is called Let Me Explain. I love this eyeshadow. I'm actually wearing it as a highlight on my face today because I looked at it and I was like, you would be a gorgeous highlight because it has a slight golden undertone, but it's more champagne, and I love colors like this on my face. This is also the color I have in my inner corners right now. So intensely pigmented, but it gives you a beautiful sheen. Do you see what I mean? It's so beautiful, so reflective, so pretty. The shimmer shades do feel soft, just like the matte ones. They don't have that like wet foiled feeling that a lot of shimmery eyeshadows do. For example, these shimmery shades from Makeup Forever almost feel wet when you touch them. Or like Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadows, they don't have the feeling of a foiled eyeshadow. They feel more powdery, more like a regular eyeshadow, but still really good payoff. This next eyeshadow is called You Know the Drill. It's a really pretty champagne shade, but it has kind of like a bronzy undertone. This one, and let me explain, is much lighter. This one is a little bronzier. I have this eyeshadow on my lid today. It's the only shimmer shadow on my lid, and I love it. It gave a nice little shimmery pop. Going to swatch it for you. You know the drill. It's right there. Really beautiful bronzy color. So pretty for every day. This next one is my new favorite transition shade. It reminds me so much of MAC Soft Brown. It's the perfect transition shade for me. It's called Wake Up Call. I'm wearing this in my crease today, and it gives you the most pretty pinky brown, well, pinky tan, I don't know. There's a little bit of pink in there. It's such a beautiful matte shade, really creamy. Love this shade. It's so magical. Look at that. It's magical. I love it so much. This one is another beautiful matte transition shade. It's called Bel Air. It's a little bit less pinky than Wake Up Call. As you can see, it's a little bit more brown. Perfect for any eye color you're gonna throw on your lids. Like, this works with cool tone looks and warm tone looks. It's like the perfect transition shade. As you can see right there. Such a beautiful color. I love it. Okay, next up is another favorite of mine. You need this color. It's so beautiful. It's called Note to Self. I'm also wearing this in my crease. I have a bunch going on in my crease right now, but I love this. It reminds me a lot of MAC Saddle, and when I used to wear MAC shadows all the time, Saddle was like my baby. I wore it all the time with Amber Lights. It was the perfect little combination. And this one reminds me so much of Saddle. Look at that. That is beautiful. It has like the perfect warm terracotta undertone, but it's still a brown. This one is another beautiful eyeshadow. It's called Save It for Later. If you're into very warm gold eyeshadows, this one will be your best friend. It does remind me a lot of MAC Amber Lights now that I'm thinking about it, but less orange, a little bit less orange. Stunning all over the lid. I actually wore this one all over my lid yesterday when I was just playing around with these eyeshadows. I love a gold that pulls more orangey. It's like my thing. Okay, so this next eyeshadow might be my favorite out of all of them. Well, no, I have a bunch of favorites. Okay, but this one is beautiful. This one is called Paper Tiger. It's the perfect mustardy yellow brown. I got a lot of questions about how this one compared to the mustardy shade in my Morphe palette, and they're very different. See, this is the mustardy shade right there, and this one is way more yellow and a little bit lighter. Both very beautiful. I love this shade. It is stunning in the crease. I have it in my crease right now. A really great way to use this eyeshadow is if you're completely done with your eye look, but you want some warmth and you want something extra in your look, just get a big fluffy brush and dust a little bit of this in your crease. It's kind of like what I did today, and it just gives a little bit of like yellowy warminess to the crease, and I love it. So this is the color right there. Such a pretty transition shade. Even if you are very fair, colors like this can be a little scary. This one is awesome. This one is called Top Notch. This one reminds me a lot of MAC's Brick Sidewalk. No. What is that MAC eyeshadow? It's not MAC Red Brick. There's another one. I can't even think of the name of the MAC eyeshadow. Something with a brick, I'm almost positive. Anyway, it reminds me a lot of Makeup Geek's Cocoa Bear as well. It's that really pretty brown with that red undertone. Brown Script. Wow, nothing about a brick. Okay, MAC Brown Script. It reminds me a lot of that one. Really beautiful. Ugh, look at that. So pigmented, stunning. I'm sure you have a bunch of colors in your collection that already look like this, but it's another staple. This one is another favorite of mine. I think it's so unique. I know I have to have colors in my collection that looks like this, but it's so beautiful, and I love how it's kind of duochrome. This one is called Come and Get It. It's a really pretty pinky purple, but it does have that gold shift to it. Stunning. I've seen a bunch of eyeshadows that look like this, but it's so beautiful. Look at that. I love it so much. When it catches the light, the gold really comes out, but then it looks pink. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so this one is called Popular Demand, and it's really similar to Top Notch. So you can see this is Top Notch right here. Top Notch is a little bit more brown, and this one has a little bit more of like a purple undertone, which I feel like I don't have many eyeshadows in my collection that look like this. This one is also very creamy. I'm gonna say that about all of them because they're all very creamy. This would be so beautiful in the outer corners just to give a little bit of depth to the look. I love colors like this. It's very rich. This one is called Stay Golden, and I love how it's not a gold eyeshadow and it's called Stay Golden. Colourpop always does that. They'll name like a red lipstick periwinkle. Like they do that all the time. I think it's so funny. Anyway, Stay Golden is a really, really beautiful pinky reddy purple shade. I have this color on the outer corners of my lids today. That purpley red shade is this, and I fell in love with it. Today is the first time I used it and I love it. This one for some reason doesn't feel as creamy as the other matte ones do. Still very pigmented though, but it doesn't feel as like creamy as the other ones do. I don't know what it is. Thought it was gonna be a little bit patchy when I started blending it out, but it's not. It goes on really smoothly and really, really pigmented. As you can see. I love this eyeshadow. Definitely another one of my favorites. Like if I had to pick a top 5, this one would totally be in my top 5. I love it. It gives me Anastasia Modern Renaissance vibes. Yeah, I love this shade. This next one is called Making Moves, and I also have this on my eyes today, somewhere deep down in there. This one actually mixes really well with this. Like it's a really pretty combination to put on the eyes. This one also doesn't feel as creamy as a lot of them, but it's still extremely pigmented. I mean, look at that. It's such a pretty corally red color. Very nice for the summertime or the spring. I think this color is gorgeous. This next one is so beautiful. Another favorite of mine. I keep saying that, I'm sorry. This one is called Wait For It. It's a beautiful pinky peach. I'm obsessed with this one. This in your crease is like beautiful. It gives like such a nice twist to the look. Not a color I would typically wear in my crease, but it looks so nice in the crease. Just to give a little something, I don't know. I really, really like this one. Now we're stepping into the more cooler tone category. This eyeshadow is called Made to Last, and I would highly recommend this one if you are a cool tone eyeshadow wearer. If you love the grays, the blacks, the purples, the smoky taupes, if you're into those kinds of shades, you would really like this because this is the perfect crease shade for a purple look or for a gray look. It's so nice because it's not too ashy. It has almost like a slight purple undertone. It is beautiful. It's like a beautiful dusty mauve with a little bit of gray. Oh, I love this color. It looks so nice against purples. Definitely a transition shade staple. Okay, so this next one is called Take the Lead, and it's like a straight up cement gray. I never wear gray eyeshadow. Is that weird? I feel like I'm never gonna touch this shade, but it's still a really good eyeshadow. It feels very smooth, very, very pigmented. I never wear gray. It's not a color I ever reach for, like ever. But who knows, maybe I will. I don't know. I feel like people just aren't really that passionate about the color gray. Because I feel like I've never heard anybody be like, yes, my favorite color is gray. I've never heard that. I've heard black, I've heard white even, but never gray. Okay, so next up is an eyeshadow that I didn't think I was gonna love as much as I do. This one is called Cloud 9, and I'm wearing this like on the very outer corners, just a little bit of this, because I thought it needed a little bit more smokiness to it. This is a really beautiful, deep, dark, matte brown with a purple undertone. It's not like a brown, but it looks so beautiful on the eyes. I didn't think I was gonna love it so much. It's like a really amazing alternative to black. Look at that. It's so rich and so dark, but it doesn't look too brown or too purple or too black or whatever. It's like, I love it. I love it. This one is like the only lonely little purple in their collection, like an actual purple. This one is called Silver Lining, and again, not silver. Oh, Colourpop, you're so cute. I never wear purple eyeshadow, like ever. I mean, occasionally, but it's never a color I go to. This one is really pretty, but I have to say it's not my favorite purple. This one is a little bit patchy when I swatch it. It doesn't give me as much color payoff as I thought it would. Like, can you tell there from the swatch? I thought it would be a little bit more rich, and it isn't, so this one is definitely like, well, for me. I don't know, I do have to try this on my eyes. I haven't put it on my eyes yet, so I don't want to sit here and tell you like, oh no, this one is garbage, because I haven't tried it on the eyes. But just swatching it on my hands, it's like, not my favorite. I don't think it's anything special. This next one is awesome. This is a really cool like slate gray. It almost looks like really metallic in the pan. It's called Goody Two Shoes. This one feels like extra metallic when you put your finger in it. I don't know what that means, but this one is very, very pigmented. It's like a dark gray with an intense silver sheen to it. I hardly wear eyeshadows like this, but I love them when I do wear them. I think they're so cool for like really cool tone smoky eyes. Like this all over the lid would be stunning. I actually did a gunmetal look using the Melt Cosmetics stack in gunmetal, and they have a really similar color to this. It's a little bit more like glittery, but this one is very, very similar. That one definitely has like actual sparkle in it, which I feel like none of the other shimmer shades have like sparkle. They're just like a sheen. Anyway, so we have 3 more left. This one is a really beautiful teal. It's called Backseat. For some reason, even though I don't wear teals that much, they're like my favorite eyeshadows to look at. They're my favorite eyeshadows to swatch. There's something about blue, teal-y colors that, I mean, just make me, look at that. That is beautiful. I never wear colors like this, but how freaking beautiful is that? I think this would look really nice smudged on the lower lash line. I love it, and it does have a beautiful sheen to it. Okay, so this next one is probably my least favorite out of the entire collection, and it's called Piece of Cake. And I'm really sad about that because when I saw everyone receiving their packages, I was like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be my favorite shade. Like, I love how these two look together. Like, there's something about these two shades. I love the combination. But I don't know, I feel like it could have been more pigmented. It was a little bit less pigmented than I thought it was gonna be. I actually tried using this on my eyes today. I took a pencil brush and I really tried to smudge it on my lower lash line, and I feel like none of the blue was really showing up, like at all. It just kind of looked muddy and a little gray, and I don't know why. Let me show you. When it swatches, and it doesn't swatch so bad, like, okay, look. Like, it's not so bad, but do you see what I mean? I don't know if you can tell. Maybe I'm just being mean to this eyeshadow. I'm sorry. It's just, I expected a little bit more, and when I tried to apply it to my eyes, I didn't like the look it was giving me. I don't really like this eyeshadow. I'm sorry, but there's something missing. I don't know. Okay, so when I tried that blue eyeshadow on my lower lash line, I was like, this isn't working. It looks a little gray. It looks weird. So then I pulled out this one. This one is called Lost and Found, and this one I actually really like. I have some of this smudged underneath my lower lash line today, but you can't really tell because I put on darker colors on top of it. But I guess because this one is a little bit lighter, it just looks brighter, and I don't know, I like this one a little bit more than Piece of Cake. It's a really, really beautiful baby blue shade. Again, not a color I typically wear, but look how pigmented that is. That one is really pigmented, really, really beautiful. If I'm ever in the mood to rock some baby blues, I will definitely go to this one. Okay guys, so those were all of their single shadows, but they did release 2 palettes, and this is what they look like. I took the sleeve off thinking that the names were on this, but the names are not on this. The names are only on the sleeve. This one is called High Maintenance, and this retails for $18. Don't mind my writing. I wrote down the names of the eyeshadows because, you know, I threw away the sleeve by mistake. So like I said, this is their High Maintenance quad. So you're technically saving $2 since each shadow is $5. So you get a little bit of a deal on that. You have the shades Just in Time, which is a really pretty gold color. Less champagne-y, more golden. That one is really pretty. This one in High Strung is phenomenal. I love this eyeshadow. It's like a really beautiful rose gold, but it's a little bit darker than a typical rose gold. I don't know. It is stunning all over the lid. Then you have this shade right here. It's called Get Out, which when I first saw it, it reminded me a lot of the shade Stay Golden, but Stay Golden is much brighter. It's a little bit more reddish-y purple, and this one is a little bit more like brown. So really beautiful shade. And then the last one is called Cute Alert. It's another dark purple, but it has like a brown undertone. It's like a brownie purple. Really, really stunning. These 4 colors pair so beautifully. The only thing I will say, I have a little bit of a con with these products here. I don't love this packaging all that much. I think it is a little bit bulky. I mean, you get 4 eyeshadows, but it's in like this box. I don't know, I prefer something a little bit more sleek. Don't get me wrong, the packaging is really cute. Like, I love the stars. I love the whole concept, but I just prefer something that's a little bit more compact. Not that anybody cares, that's just my personal opinion. But I do love the fact that you could just pop these right out and throw them in a Z palette. So you don't really need this packaging, and I still think it's worth getting it, even if you don't keep the packaging, because it's $18 and you save $2 on getting these 4 eyeshadows. Anyway, this one is really nice. And then this one is Low Key, I believe. That's the name of this quad. You get 4 really beautiful, warm, orangey eyeshadows. This one is called Take It Slow. It's another light, shimmery shade, but this one is much more like champagne-y than the gold and the High Maintenance quad. I'm actually gonna swatch it next to the gold and the High Maintenance. Yeah, they're like 1000% different. And then I'm gonna swatch 2 eyeshadows from their singles. Okay, so I swatched 4 eyeshadows for you to see the difference. This first one is called Let Me Explain. And then this one right next to it that looks very similar is actually the champagne shade in the Low Key palette. Can't tell on camera, but Let Me Explain is lighter. This one in Take It Slow has a little bit more of like a pinky undertone. I'm not so sure you can tell. And then right here, these are totally different. This is the golden one, Just in Time, from the High Maintenance quad. And then this one is that bronzy shade called You Know the Drill. I just wanted to compare these colors together because they're all like light, shimmery shades, just in case you guys were wondering. Anyway, like I was saying, that one was Take It Slow, and then they have this one. It's a really pretty, like, muted orange, but kind of like a true orange, but not so in your face. That one is called IOU. This one in Running Late is a really pretty yellow, almost like a peachy, dirty yellow. Really, really stunning. Completely different from Paper Tiger, as you can see. Paper Tiger is much more like mustardy. That one is Running Late, and then you have like this really pretty deep red color. Nothing like any of their single eyeshadows. It's a very beautiful, unique color. So yeah, these are both really awesome. So yeah, that completes this video. Let me know what you guys think of Colourpop releasing new pressed eyeshadows. Do you love it? Which ones are your favorite? Are you planning on picking any of them up, or did you already pick some up? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. No. If you like a really intense shimmery bubble, like they'll name like a. That's actually not my phone ringing, so that one wasn't my fault.